Here is my freshly deployed VCF workload domain and its vCenter. Let's use vCenter now to deploy two new finance and marketing two-tier applications with dedicated isolated networks for each. The vCenter admin already deployed the compute and storage of that application with the finance and marketing web tier and DB tier VMs. And now the vCenter needs to create the network for those two-tier applications. But this time the vCenter admin won't open tickets to ask the network team to create the new VLAN, default gateway, DHCP servers for each finance and marketing application. The vCenter admin will create those directly from vCenter on his own. So for that, he goes to vCenter Networking and Virtual Private Clouds. And you can see that at the VCF workload domain deployment, the network connectivity has been completed. And it has been completed with an external IP block 3131.00/16. So any new VPC public network will come from that block. By the way, that IP block was provided at the deployment of the VCF workload domain by the company network administrator, who obviously owns all IP addressing in the company. So let's go back to VPC and create that VPC finance. I'm calling it VPC finance, and let's provide a private IP CIDR 10.151.0.0/16. The company network admin is not involved in the VPC private addressing, since those private IPs are limited inside the VPC. They'll never be used or be seen by the physical data center and the outside world. So that's it. The vCenter admin creates a VPC, a virtual network bubble for his new application finance. Now he can create the two subnets, public and private, needed for that application finance. So let's create the first subnet, FinWeb, and let's make it public because I want the external world to be able to reach it. And let's make it small since I have only one IP, so 16 is more than enough. And let's use DHCP for my VMs. And now let's create the second subnet, FinDB, and let's make it private because I do not want the external world to reach it. Only the web tier can be reachable by the outside world. Now let's plug my finance VMs to those VPC subnets. There are two ways to do that. Directly from VPC, and that's what I'm doing for my web tier VM, or editing the VM and you can see here for my DB tier VM, I have the VPC networks in their own tab to help the vCenter admin to select the right network. Let's power on now the VMs. And waiting for the application to boot up, let's look at another cool thing available in vCenter-VPC. Here you have a nice graphic, a nice representation of the VPC networks with the different subnets and the VMs attached to them. And directly from here, you can also see the VM IP address. So here is my web tier IP address, and I can access the new finance application that the vCenter admin fully deployed, compute, storage, and network from vCenter UI. And here we go. The external users have access to the web tier, and the web tier has access to the DB tier. And you can see the external users do not have access to the DB tier. Now, if you want to provide external users access to the DB tier, then the vCenter admin on his own can create a one-to-one NAT, also called external IP, for that DB VM on a private network. Here we go. So now external people have access to the private DB VM through its external IP public. and that access can be via ping, or that access can be via any other protocol such as SSH. Okay, so the vCenter admin fully deployed the finance application, compute, storage, and network, and he needs to do now the new marketing application. So the vCenter admin could follow the exact same steps with 50, 60, click, click, click. But this time he doesn't want to do it via UI. He wants to do it in a faster way through automation. And for that, he will use PowerShell, a PowerShell script that will do all of that. So here is the script. And let me launch it. In a couple of seconds, the whole marketing application is deployed, compute, storage, and network, by the vCenter admin through a single click or a single script. From the UI, the vCenter admin can now look at the new VPC marketing topology, or can look at all the VPC topologies. And from there, he can find a specific VM IP, such as the marketing web frontend VM. And so now, with this information, external users can access the marketing app. Here we go. And now, if people want to access the DB tier app, which is in a private subnet, that's through its external IP, which can be easily found also in the vCenter-VPC topology. Here we go, 31.31.03, and I can access it now. This wraps up the demo of vCenter-VPC with full deployment of applications by the vCenter admin. Thanks for your time and see you soon.